Welcome to another episode of Five Things. And in case this is the first episode that you're seeing this season, Chetty is on vacation and we're changing some things up a little bit. So, no intro into the history of the topic today. We're just going to dive right into things. So, our topic for today is five comedians that you should check out. And with me today, our special guest host returning from the Danny Vega show, it is Danny V.
What up?
What's going on?
Chilling. Great to be back as always. Filling in for Chetty.
Yeah, it's been a fun season so far, too.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah, lots of surprises coming.
Oh, boy, I'm ready.
All right, so before we introduce our guests, let's roll the credits.
I am inevitable.
We can't do a comedy show without having an expert in the field to talk about comedians. So with us today is a very special guest. I met him at a horror convention a few years ago at Pop Rock and Horror. Got to see him live at a Pop Rock and New Year's Evil show, and that is Mr. Craig Loydgren.
What happens just like a car? After a few years, the tires start going bald. The brakes don't work so good. Fluid starts leaking. I suffer all that shit. I'm digressing, people. I'm fucking shrinking. At the rate I'm going now, by the time I'm 80, I'm gonna be 3'6". Green with big ears, fucking walking with a cane, talking backwards. A comic I used to be. Yes.
All right, man. What's going on?
Craig, what you got going on?
You can find all my stuff. If you want to check me out, my special Married and Miserable is on Amazon Prime. Check that out. Craig Loydgren's Married and Miserable. I did a couple of movies. I did a couple of Harmon. I got a little taste in Terrifier 2. You'll see me there. Go to craigloydgren.com and you can find out everything.
Yeah, so Craig, it's great to have you on the show. I will tell you this. I know we all have a little bit of our own approach to this list here. For me, I am a very, very hard sell on comedians, right? I watch a lot of the ones. There's a lot of amazing comedians out there that are making a lot of money. A lot of people love them. Then I watch them. It's like, yeah, not for me. So when I like a comedian, that's really, I guess it's really special, right? And I have to say, Craig, you're definitely on that list. It's a short list for me of comedians that I really love to see and love to watch live stuff on or go see live.
Comedy is really hard for me to pick a top five, so I have to break it down by genre of comedy for me personally, because too many comedians could be my number five. Too many comedians could be my number four. There's only one number one, though, that I have to say is my overall favorite. That was the easiest one. However, everything else was just so hard. So I had to break it down like that. So when people go, that guy or that gal, yes, for that genre, yes.
Let's dive into this. I'm excited to see the list. I have the feeling that there's going to be a Five Things hat trick possibly at number one. I just have that feeling that we're going to see a number one that may be all the same again. So I've had that once already this season and it hit, and I think we're going to get it again. How this works is we go round robin style. We go from 5 all the way up to 1. We start with our guest. So Craig, who is your number 5?
All right, my number 5, a lot of you guys may not know. Got the open forum, Bob Nelson.
Oh, first I want to show you my grandmother. A lot of people get upset when I do that, but if you saw my grandmother, you'd say, that's her.
He was a character comic from the 80s and 90s. He was around for a while. He was in Bob Nelson. He had his own HBO special called Nelson Smeltion, where he did a whole bunch of characters, a one-man show, and he just ran around. It was in a house, and he went up the stairs and down the stairs, and he was 20 different characters for about an hour and a half, and it was just incredible. He was a character comic, but he was first introduced on where I met almost every one of my comics of my inspiration on. Rodney Dangerfield used to do an HBO special, and he had his young comedians that he used to do, and he introduced everybody. But that's where you would first find Bob Nelson doing things like Jeff's Gym. I don't know if you ever seen that. We put the thing on his head for boxing, and he crosses his eyes like, my name is Jeff. You know, and it was just funny stuff. He would do the college all-star team. He put a red, I don't know if you guys ever seen this. He put the red sweatshirt on it. He put 2 balloons up inside to make him look like he was a football player. And he'd carry a helmet, and he'd run around. He would do stupid things like spin the helmet and look through the ear hole, and he would just get stuck. He'd be like, Tom, and he would just come around again on his hands and knees, and he's like, my name is Pepe the Weppy, I kick the ball. You know, just funny, stupid stuff, running around being a silly, you know, Bruce Kofke, San Francisco University, tight end, you know. Oh, stop. This year I hope to be a wide receiver. So that, you know, he did stuff like that. Bob Nelson was a big character that I loved doing.
You started with old school. I'm going to put my old school at number 5. So I'm going to have to go with OG Eddie Murphy.
I went to a white disco recently, and I watched the white people dance. Y'all can't dance. No, it's not. I'm not being racist. I mean, it's just like saying black people have thick lips. It's not racist. It's true. We have thicker lips, and white people can't dance.
Stand up.
Okay, yeah.
I have to. When you talk, don't get me wrong. When we go ahead and we have our list, I know people are probably like, there's so many other ones, but listen, they'll be in the honorable mentions. But when it comes to old school stand-up comedy, like when you talk about Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, all them, Eddie Murphy stood out, man. And when you saw Raw and Delirious, not only did it, spark his huge successful movie career, but it really was different at the time, and he did his own style. And if you even see interviews with Eddie Murphy talking about it, how, when he met Rodney Dangerfield and said not to do is too much cursing, too much of this, too much of that. It's incredible how he just changed the game.
Very nice. Good pick. Good pick.
That was an awesome pick. Might not be the last time he's spoken about during this show. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Epic foreshadowing. Dun, dun, dun.
Someone just dropped an Easter egg.
It may be controversial, right? Because this person is sort of canceled, and that is Louis C.K.
Especially one of the ads that comes on before the video. I don't skip those. I think that's rude. It is. It's mean. Somebody worked hard on that ad. They trained a cheetah to run alongside a Jeep Cherokee. And you're at home like, 3, 2, 1, fuck off. It's fucking mean. What if you made something, dick?
Oh, no, he's a good comedian, man. Whatever.
Not controversial to me, baby.
Yep.
Everything he did, he talked about. He didn't hide nothing.
Exactly. And Louis C.K. brought us back into watching comedians again. And we had the pleasure of sitting 3 rows from the main stage to see him live up here. And he is just fantastic. And then, as it was mentioned, right? So he has talked about all those issues that he kind of got called out during the Me Too movement.
When you take someone's personal life out of it and you want to just talk about their career, man, like Louis C.K. really did a really good job in being funny and also talking about real world shit that I loved. Like, he'll take certain derogatory terms and be like, we've never used it in a derogatory term like this. We used it in this context. And we're like, yeah, like, I've never thought about it in this way. I've thought about it in the way that he's saying, and that's why it was extra funny, because you're like, yes, that's exactly where I'm coming from. Yes. And he just explained it in a way that was really funny. And especially, like you guys said, talking about his stuff, you would never think that you would laugh from him, taking the skeletons out of the closet, but he does it so well that you're like, holy shit, am I really laughing at this?
Right,
yes. Yes, I am.
I met him a couple of times, never really got to talk to him. I was in the same circle, like in the city. He'd come in and do something. I'm just standing there kind of in awe, not really knowing. I'm just standing like, okay, I'll listen. Like that's happened to me a lot over the years, because so many working in Manhattan, in New York City, everybody comes through. And I try to be cool and not bother everybody when they come in. So I just sit there and stare at them weirdly. Again, this list is all my number ones at their age, and I'm going backwards of the which is the one of the people you will see most come out of me on stage. Sam Kinnison.
Best thing about marriage is that these are connected. They don't come on. Because if they did, your wife would take it as soon as you got married. She'd go, you're married now, you won't be needing that.
Oh,
Nice, dude.
It's got the chills doing that. This right here, this man, seeing him for the first time, 6 minutes, 6 lousy minutes on the Rodney Dangerfield special changed my life. I said, I that's who I want to be. I mean, I already wanted to be a comic. I wanted to be a comic since I was 8 years old. So when we get to number 1, you'll find the first comic that ever influenced me in my life. But like I was like, that's the guy. I just want to, going out there. And dude, he did great things, man. His Live from Hell. It's right after they put it together, right after he died.
Hall show. Fox used to have a show on the weekends. It was Comic Strip Live, so I got to see him perform on there often. And then he was on. I think he made a couple of guest spots in Married with Children too.
Absolutely, he was the angel. He was the angel and the devil talking to him on Al's shoulders of what he should and shouldn't do. He was his conscience.
Hell yeah. My favorite angry comedian, Bill Burr.
And then if you don't wear a mask, that doesn't bug me either, right? Take out your grandparents, Take out your weak cousin with the asthma. I don't care. It's your decision. There's too many people. It's a dream come true. If you're that dumb and you want to kill your own family members, by all means do it.
Ah, very good. Very good.
Bill, oh my God, dude. I have never related to a comedian so angry in my life that I'm like, I see myself turning into him so much. Like one of those, those stereotypical old men that are in the show that hates everybody. I feel that more and more as I age, and Bill Burr just says it all. And I love him so much. I love the fact that, someone can be so angry and make it funny at the same time. One of my favorite moments is when he went to Philly and the whole lineup, Philly was just booing every single comedian. And they tried that shit with Bill Burr. And Bill Burr just started reaming into every single person in the crowd, and then about the state of Philly to the point that it flipped them and they started respecting him. They cheered him on. And he's just like, and then he started. The funniest thing was that he was counting down the minutes that he had left. He's like, what am I at? 3 minutes. And then he's just like, fuck this state. He's like, you guys are a piece of shit. He's like, your most memorable person in Philadelphia is a fictitious character. He's talking about Rocky. Oh my God. Incredible, dude. Genius.
He's prolific. He writes constantly. He's smart. He looks at. We all look at it from an obscure angle, but he is. That's a good one, man. That's a good number 4.
He's one of those comedians, kind of like, Tom Segura and, Joe Rogan's and other people, that he's not afraid to talk about the controversial shit. And then he'll make you first be offended, but then make you laugh about it. Like, you can't just sit there like, me. Like, as soon as he talks about it, you're just laughing your ass off because you're like, it's so true.
Kevin Hart.
I woke my son up at 2 in the morning with a complete bullshit story. I kicked his bed. Get your ass up. Get up! He woke up. He was confused. What? What? No. You never said that. What? Calling me a liar? You telling me I'm lying? Get your ass up. Get that goddamn trash out. Private schools are fucking my kids up. My son, he said, all right. Let me get my flops. What?
So
That's a good one.
Yeah, Again, this is my top 5 right now. So anytime that I can see Kevin Hart on TV, I go ahead and watch it. We've seen him live. Me and my wife love watching him. He's another person, that's real. He talks about his personal life. He talks about his screw up. So he's very honest and out there. And he jokes about his life and his family and, times as well.
There you go. The first time in the list I won't agree with you, but
talk about controversial. Holy shit.
Everything you said is true. He's a great guy. He's got a good reputation, takes care of his people. He's pretty funny. I just don't I like him better as an actor. I think a comedic actor, the little guy with all the hey, all that like the high, loud, running around shit, hysterical. All the Jumanji movies and everything, like just everything he does, movie wise, he's great. His comedy, to me personally, is all right. But you're entitled to your opinion.
I got to jump in on that. So I agree with both of you partially. So Kevin Hart is not on my list. He's on my honorable mentions.
There you go.
The reason being, I feel early Kevin Hart was really, really funny.
Yes.
Until he started doing movies.
I'll agree with that.
And so when he started doing movies, he you can see the talent there, and his acting started coming out, and he really knows how to use his persona in it. So it's like him acting just him, like almost like a Ryan Reynolds. You're just being yourself, and you're naturally funny.
Yes.
I feel that once he started going down that route, that his stand-up started not, I wouldn't say regress like dramatically, but it was at the point that you're like, I think it was, so Laugh at My Pain was for me the last time that he was funny in a stand-up. And that's, his mom died and all that stuff. He was going through like a horrible time, but he made it funny, and you're like, oh, was it funnier than Grown Little Man? Absolutely not. Grown Little Man, it was probably like his peak Kevin Hart and stand-up.
We're going to backtrack to number 5, Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy Delirious. I'm going to tell you right now, Eddie Murphy Delirious. First of all, he was on, I'm a little older than you guys, so Saturday Night Live. It was great, Then he came out with the movies. He came out with 48 Hours. It was like just amazing movie. And then Beverly Hills Cop and just all these movies. And then he came out with a little 1-hour special called Delirious. I recorded that whole thing on that and used to go to bed to it, listening to it in bed at night. So I memorized the whole thing, and I used to act it out verbatim for my friends at 13, 14, 15 years old, like in school. People like, come on, do Eddie Murphy. And
a lot of people don't like dry sense of humor comedy. I love it. Absolutely incredible. So my number 3 is Mitch Hedberg.
When Gatorade has a commercial, they always have like a guy playing sports. I don't think you have to be playing sports and sweating to enjoy a Gatorade. I just think you can be a thirsty dude. Gatorade forgets about this demographic. I'm thirsty for absolutely no reason, other than the fact that liquid has not touched my lips for some time. Can I have a Gatorade too, or does that lightning bolt mean no?
Great.
So, oh my God. I remember one of the first jokes I heard from him, and it was so brilliant, but yet so stupid that I just could not stop laughing. Is when he's like, dogs are forever in the push-up position. And then just waits and goes, that joke is dumb and I'm aware of it. And just waits.
Right.
And then, so the crowd is like, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And it's just, his play on comedy was just so good. He had this one joke that they said, someone said, hey, this is a picture of me when I was younger. He's like, come on, man. Every picture of you is when you're younger.
When you were younger.
Yep. Or he's like, he goes, I used to do drugs. I still do, but I used to too. Just an intelligent comedian, man. Like I said, those jokes are simple and dry and just, like the 13th floor in the hotel when he was just like, come on, people on the 14th floor, you know what floor you're really on, and you don't think about it. He's like, you try to kill yourself, you would jump out the window and die earlier. It's one of those things that you have to really think about,
Absolutely.
Or he's like, if 13's unlucky, so should the letter B be, because B looks like a scrunched up 13. And so it makes you think, you have to really think about it. You're like, oh shit, yeah, it does. Like, what?
Right. Yeah,
so, what's your name? Bob. Get the fuck away. Like.
My pick for number 3 is Fluffy.
So my girl started tripping out, and I started getting these weird phone calls. Finally, I got tired of it. I said, you know what? I don't need this, I don't need it. From now on, when I take off on the road, no more phone calls. Look at that guy. Yeah. Are you here by yourself? Whatever, dude.
5, he was doing a double. we got to wait to see his second show, and we had to stand out in the rain for an hour. That's how long the line was to get in to see him. So when we got on there, he was already late performing for his previous show. So we were an hour, I think 40 minutes late to get into his second show. And then he's like, you know what? Somebody heckled him. He went on a whole entire tangent. And he did a 2.5 hour show because he was supposed to come off. He's like, you know what? Now we're just going to keep going until they kick us off. So he ended up going for about 2.5 hours. But he's one of the few comedians that I can watch with the entire family. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clean.
That's a good one.
Funny. It actually is a real, you know, he's been around a long time. I'll give you props. That guy's been around a long time and always makes me laugh. Oh, I don't watch him. Like, I don't watch comedy. But when I do watch, when it's on, like, you know, other people want to watch comedy. I watch it once in a blue moon. Usually because other people are like, oh, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. He has never, ever, ever disappointed me. He is a funny dude. Absolutely.
A good choice, man. That was a real good choice.
Because he's still a comedian, still very popular, very active, but not the guy that I was first introduced to, and that's Howie Mandel.
I need some identification. So I gave her my Canadian driver's license. So she says, no, I need something with a picture on it, right? So I take it back and I draw a little picture on it. wait, okay. So anyways, I give her a picture back and she says, no, I mean a picture of you, right? So I take it back and I draw a picture of me on the mountain. It's great. My hair was blowing in the wind. You would have loved it.
Howie Mandel.
Shit.
Old school. Go look up the 6th annual Young Comedians Award. Dude, he come out, he had big curly hair. He was all jittery and very high strung, like he just did fucking 3 lines of coke. You know, he's like, hey, oh, you know, what's going on? I got my handbag, and he's got a bag with it's a hand. It looks like a big hand. I got my handbag, you know, and we do all that. Yeah. And at one point during this, and I've done this on stage, like as an homage to him. But Howie Mandel drops the microphone in the middle of his set on the floor, and instead of picking up the microphone, he throws himself onto the floor, laying there on the floor with the mic right in front of him, and he did another 2 minutes of fucking comedy laying on the floor talking into the fucking microphone. It was insane. Now he's the bald guy that's OCD and you can't touch him, and you know, he's Deal or No Deal and all this other stuff and whatever X Factor, whatever America's Got Talent and all that crap. But you look up old school Howie Mandel, maniac. Absolutely.
I gotta see it, man. I've never ever seen old school Howie, ever.
Yeah, look up anything when he had hair.
All right, my number 2 genre is in dark comedy. Jimmy Carr.
Pete Davidson's here. I'm appalled that people would come here and make jokes about the sacrifice Pete's heroic father made on 9/11. This is not the roast of Pete Davidson's father. That was in 2001.
My favorite dark comedy comedian. Dude, Jimmy Carr, you cannot mess with this guy, man, because he knows how to deal with hecklers so quick. And not only that, anytime that he's on the roast of Comedy Central, he burns people so bad, and it's horrendous too. I'm surprised he hasn't gotten canceled. His last stand-up, he even said it. He goes, do you think I can get canceled at this, like after doing the show? And the crowd was like, yes. And he just goes so hard that you're like, Jesus, oh, you know, and you just start laughing. But
yeah, you know what? I end up going down the rabbit hole on Carr all the time on YouTube. I never remember his name, but when he comes up, it's like, oh, I got to check out another video. Got to check it out. Yeah, his delivery is flawless. Is Ricky Gervais.
What about all the funny female comedians? Like, no. Right. No. I'm not doing that. Okay, right. That was irony, okay? There's going to be a bit of that throughout the show. See if you can spot it, okay? Now, that's when I say something I don't really mean for comic effect, and you as an audience, you laugh at the wrong thing because you know what the right thing is.
Nice. That's a good choice, man.
Yeah. He's not afraid to take shots at anybody, and I'm surprised he hasn't been slapped on stage for what he said to people, especially with Mel Gibson, you know. But yeah, I love watching. Just watched his last special, and that was a good one as well. Another one, he talks a little bit about his own life, but he he talks about some current events as well, and he's not afraid to tackle religion and all the insanity that's around topics like that and politics and stuff like that.
He's created so many great shows. The show Extras, The Office, the original
The
Office.
original Office, yes.
Life's Too Short. And it's Ricky Gervais, Steve Merchant, and Warwick Davis. And obviously, you guys being horror fans know who Warwick Davis is. And if you know, for the other people who, if they don't, obviously he was the Leprechaun movies. He was Willow, and his first gig was he was Wicket, the Ewok, he was 14 years old.
That's awesome.
In Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, but the show's called Life's Too Short, and it's based on him being a midget or a little person actor, like a has-been washed up that owes taxes and is trying to and thinks he's great. Oh, dude, it's a mockumentary. It's
I seen that. I seen a couple episodes of that.
Oh, you did,
What?
right?
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
Cried, tears going down my face
funny.
because all the little jokes and all the he falls. Oh my! I don't even want to say. Watch it. We're gonna talk about it.
Okay, we'll watch it.
It's only 8 half-hour episodes. You can sit through it in one night.
Cool.
You do this, and you sit back, you get your munchies all in front of you, you smoke a little, maybe a drink, kick back, and watch, and you'll have a good time, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, we're into number ones.
Uh-oh. Are we ready? Right. If you watch my special, Married and Miserable, which is on Amazon Prime, it opens up with a sketch, and the sketch is the 8-year-old me telling the class, what he wants to be when he grows up. It's a minute, and then it goes into my stand-up, and then I do a couple of sketches after. But that is all very much real to who I am and what I am and how long I've wanted to do stand-up comedy. But the number one guy was 8 years old watching a TV show called Happy Days. And in this show, Happy Days, one episode, they introduced a character. And the character's name was Mork from Ork. And that's where this guy came in.
Yes.
Yes.
Robin
that
Williams.
is my number one, too.
How are you, my friends? Grab some seats. You were caught in... What? Oh, that's your old boss. Did you fuck him? Not an inappropriate question to ask in Washington. No. And he's going, no!
I tell you, that's the one person that made me fall off the couch crying, laughing, because he's just so amazing.
Guy was the first guy to show me that you can be that wild and zany. Like, oh my goodness, let's go over here, and let's do this. You can do all that and still take everybody with you. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be scripted. It just has to be you. And if you're delivering you and you're delivering funny, and man, you can get away with anything. I get away with so much shit on stage.
And I remember the first time seeing his stand-up. The one thing, there was 2 jokes that burned in my head forever. And I was young when I saw it. Where he was talking about how golf became a sport.
Right.
Holy shit. I'll knock the ball in a fucking gopher hole. Oh, you mean like croquet? Fuck croquet. And dude, I was like, oh my God, that joke. And then when he said that, because, we were in the war with the Middle East, he was just like, instead of dropping bombs, we should drop a big jar of peanut butter. He goes, because you can't call out to anyone with a mouthful of peanut butter.
Right.
They'd be like, how did you fish? And I just started crying, and I'm a young kid just laughing my ass off watching that HBO special, man.
Right.
And it's like you said, Robin Williams allowed people like me that was just wild, like ADHD and all that jazz. Like,
me too. I do a whole joke
just
about being ADD.
Yeah, it allowed you to be you, man. My number one of all time is Dave Chappelle.
Gay or straight, get a dog. This dog will love you all the time, but she's not going to. My kids got the dog. They brought him home from the shelter, and I didn't even want him. They were like, can we keep him? I said, nope. I said, where'd you even get this dog? They're like, we got him from the shelter. I was like, ugh.
He was the easiest to pick because out of a million amazing comedians, man. Like, I can go on. My honorable mentions list can go on for like 3 episodes, man. Like, Chappelle is my overall favorite. We watched Chappelle's show, but it was his stand-up, and especially for what it's worth. Oh my God. And in the newer ones too, my God. you know, like coming back after all these years, just roasting everybody and not being afraid of cancel culture, making fun of cancel culture, you know, and also talk about a very intelligent comedian, but not only a very intelligent comedian, very intelligent human being. And this dude, man, like he broke all sorts. Like, if you want to talk about like GOAT status, man, you know, when you talk about like Michael Jordan and all these other people, Chappelle is it.
He is. He's just right there. He's so, dude, his show was 2 seasons. Because I don't even count the 3rd season because he had all guest hosts because he started like losing his shit at that point and had to do his thing. So the Chappelle show was on 3 seasons, but the 3rd season is like 8 or 10 episodes. But those first 2 seasons of the Chappelle show are funnier than any other show ever, I think, ever made. And I'll put that up against In Living Color, which is one of the greatest cutting edge early Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live has sucked for 20 years, but for a few years, you know, Saturday Night Live has had its moments where it was amazing and had its moments where it sucked, but it's still around. In the early years, it was great, then it sucked for a while, and it was great again. But they'd have things. Fucking Chappelle, 2 lousy seasons, and it wasn't a bad episode, and every one of them was super controversial, super crazy, super cutting edge, and everybody loved it. There was no one bitch. I mean, there was a few people, I'm sure, bitching and complaining, but everybody understood that it was comedy. It was fucking comedy, man. Cut and dry. Don't judge. Leave your shit at the door. Comedy. And probably the greatest show on TV. It'll go down as like one of the all-time greatest sketch shows ever.
The Wayne Brady bit that he had on his one episodes. I'm Wayne Brady, bitch.
Yeah. Does Wayne Brady have to choke a bitch?
Right.
I'm gonna have to choke a bitch. I'm gonna have to get out this truck. No, Wayne, please.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to choke a bitch? I try not to be. You know what?
Wait,
okay.
Come on, man.
No,
man.
I'm gonna get out of this car right now.
Come on, please, man. Come on, just let us slide.
You better thank Dave Chappelle. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dave, and I like your show.
We already talked about my number ones, Robin Williams. Nothing really more to say about it than what we've talked about. So, does your list match our list? Who is on your top 5? Drop that in the comments. Let us all know. And before we do head out for this episode, we'll have our honorable mentions play a little bit later this week. But Craig, please drop on us what you got going on.
Look me up, CraigLoydgren.com. I got a couple of things coming up. I got a couple of movies. We got Stream coming out, Terrifier 2 coming out. So look for that stuff. And there's a couple other cool things coming out. So keep an eye out. CraigLoydgren.com.
Danny, you're a guest host. Anything that you want to drop real quick?
Sweet, yeah. Just go to my channel, The Danny Vega Show. Like and subscribe. Be great. I'm still doing my 1K giveaway, and how do you say it? It was a inspired by Mr. Dave Partenio himself, and also in the works right now. I got a couple of indie projects that I'm getting ready to work on, so that's going to be fun as well. So stay tuned for that.
Make sure you like this. Swing over to Danny's show, the Danny Vega Show, and like that as well, and help him get to that 1,000 subscribers if he's not hit it yet by the time this video drops. That does it for this episode of 5 Things. Again, come back in a couple days. You'll get to see some of our honorable mentions. And until the next episode, this is Dave, Danny, and Craig.
See ya.